I was not expecting this to go the way it did. Whew. Hi, I'm Ginny, and today I'm going to be talking about more than reviewing The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. This is the last book in the Mistborn trilogy, so if you haven't read the first two, then you probably should not stay, because there is no way I can give you any sort of summary without spoilers. If you haven't read the first two books, go do that. Maybe watch other people talk about those books, because I haven't done a book talk on the first two books, and then come to this so we can discuss about The Hero of Ages. Bye! Okay, now that they're gone, this book. Overall, I think this might be my favorite book in the trilogy. I can't actually place it like over the other books because the first one was so lovely. It was such a great introduction to the series, and then the second one was intense. Like, you didn't know what was going on, like how, what. And this, it concludes so amazingly. Like, after the first book, you don't expect there to be much of a story. Like, I wasn't sure what was gonna happen in the second book, but then I read the second book and so much happens, and so much more happens in the third book. Brandon Sanderson is the reason I can never be an amazing author. He is just too good at the things he does. His characters, his world, his histories, his myths, his religions, everything is so perfect. So since we are delving into the spoilers of this book, Sazed as the Hero of Ages. Now, I had watched Xteen May's book talk about the previous book, The Well of Ascension, where she theorized that Sazed could very well be the Hero of Ages, and once I heard that, it just did not get out of my head. The first bits of writing before every chapter, they sounded like Sazed. I think it was supposed to make us think it was Vin, because a lot of the things that were said were things that Vin had gone through, that Vin could very easily have been writing about. But that style of writing is not Vin. I don't think Vin even writes. Like, she's not the kind to sit and put her thoughts down on paper. And there's one part where it says, I think. There's a sentence, and after that goes, I think, or I believe. And that is a lot like the way Sazed talks. So I could not get that out of my head, and then Sazed was the Hero of Ages, and everything just... It was such an intense ending. Sazed was probably one of the best character development arcs I've seen, rivaled only by Spook. Holy shit. I did not expect Spook to turn out the way he did. In the beginning, when like Spook is around and he's just trying to help people and things, you're like, oh, okay, that's nice. You're doing your job. You're doing what you're supposed to do. And then he burns pewter? I was not expecting that. I didn't think that. How? I had this theory, like, starting, I think, from the second book itself, that Mistborns could hear voices. It's a secondary voice in their mind. And I know that was Ruin. Okay, I didn't link it to Ruin because we weren't introduced to Ruin. But I had a theory that if you are Mistborn, you hear voices. Now, I didn't know about Kel, okay? But if you take Vin and Zane as examples, both of them heard voices. Vin had Reen in her head, Zane had God in his head. And now, when Spook started burning pewter, he heard Kelsier in his head. So I thought, oh, okay, maybe this is a Mistborn thing, other than Kel. Like, that was consistent. And I know Spook is not Mistborn, was not Mistborn, but, I mean, he can burn more than one metal, that counts, right? And then you realize it's Ruin, and that just makes more sense than Mistborns being able to hear voices in their head. Spook's character development was intense. I understand that Ruin was trying to, like, make him get on a destructive path and things, but Spook, he just owned everything. Like, I did not expect him to play such a major role in this book. I loved his character development. He became another survivor. He became another god figure, which seems to be what a lot of them were doing. Like now Sazed is god, and Vin was always heir of the survivor, and now Spook is survivor of the flames. They're all getting such mantles. I also like that despite the fact that Ruin was clouding his judgment, Spook still believed so much in Kel and so much in the goodness of, doing the right thing and being a good person, like doing things to protect people, that he didn't let Ruin's voice override his own. That is something I saw also in Yeoman, the obligator who rules Fadrex City. I was completely prepared to hate him. We went in there knowing that Yeoman was the bad guy, but then he turned out to be okay. Like, I wouldn't say nice. He did imprison Vin for a long time, but other than that, he wasn't a bad person like I expected him to be. And I did enjoy the fact that he and Elend saw on intellectual terms. Like, both of them are scholars. They're not warriors. And it was only circumstance that differentiated them in the end, I guess, because Elend had to become emperor. He had to take on the throne. And Yeoman, he was still not a warrior as much as Elend was. At the beginning of the book, I wasn't sure how this balance between Elend and Vin would play out, because now Elend is Mistborn, a very powerful Mistborn, and he doesn't need Vin around. But his understanding of being a Mistborn just made them that much closer together. Like, now he knows what it's like to be Mistborn, he knows what it's like to have that power, and he knows how it is to just, do things. And they're still not on the same intellectual level as each other. I mean, Elend is still more of a scholar and Vin is still more of an impulsive thinker, but that just, I don't know, it doesn't make them that different from each other. This book was more of a understanding of their relationship more than it was a developing. They are completely at ease with each other now. There's no hesitance between the both of them. And this book was just it was just to show us that they are comfortable with each other. They have no doubts whatsoever anymore. And that's kind of nice. I like the fact that the mists were not evil, like they were preservation's essence. It just revealed the Allomancers, which was such a twist. I did not expect that to happen. I thought for as long as people in the book thought that the mists were a part of Ruin, but to find out that they were actually a part of preservation and that it was revealing Allomancers, that was unexpected. And Marsh, I feel so bad for Marsh. I think his one redeeming moment was when he ripped the earring off of Vin. Like, that moment changed the course of this entire war. Now that they knew Vin connected with the mists, she became one of them, and she became preservation. It's kind of ironic how the girl who killed 1,000 of Set's soldiers becomes preservation. I was also sad that Tensoon didn't meet Vin. Like, no, you journey out so long to find Vin and then you don't meet her. That was sad. I mean, I genuinely liked the relationship Vin shared with the Kandra. And I liked the Kandra history itself, the fact that the Terrace people and the Kandra were so closely related, and how they knew that this was gonna happen, and the whole story is just so good. I completely enjoyed the last bit of Vin as a human, where she just wrecks those Inquisitors. She destroys Creditshaw. Wow, that is some power. That is insane power. Like, whew. And I also liked the part where when Vin is preservation and she sees Elend run out to meet the Kolos and he just glows. That entire scene, the part where she's fighting with him, like where she's giving him the power to just fight, and Elend is fighting against Marsh, and Elend is a representation of preservation while Marsh is a representation of ruin. And you can just imagine those two forces like putting all their energy into these two people to just win, to just balance out each other. I did not expect Elend to die. Genuinely, when Marsh stabbed him, I wasn't expecting him to die. I thought, okay, it's okay, he'll heal. But no, Marsh cuts his head off. What? No, I was not expecting that to happen. The only thing that made me feel better about Elend's death, oddly enough, was Vin's death. The fact they are together in the afterlife, wherever that is, and they are content now, they are happy. It makes my heart a bit better to know that they are together and they're happy. The ending, I think, was the most powerful thing about the book. The fact that Sazed had all this knowledge to put the world back to its original place. I like how when you began the book, Sazed was so confused and so lost, and now he's just recreating the entire world. That character arc was so beautifully written. And the fact that all these religions that he just disregarded as useless all contained something of the world within them, it just makes things so lovely. And the grass and flowers and all that Sazed did to make the world better, Rashek and Vin could never have done that. They didn't have the knowledge. Even if Vin had that power for years together, she wouldn't have been able to put it together the way Sazed had, because she didn't have exactly that knowledge. That ending was probably the best ending that could have ever happened. Like I can't see it ending any other way. It makes you a bit emotional. At least it made me a bit emotional to see Elend and Vin just lying together, holding hands, dead. Brandon Sanderson is so good at writing. I also like the fact that he didn't make anybody like straight out evil. Like even the Lord Ruler was still a good man who was just led astray. Yeoman was a good man who had his opinions. And even Marsh, who we know was a good man, was still taken over by the force that was ruin. I will never be half as good as this man. It is the truth. And that is the end of this book talk. I am going to read every other Brandon Sanderson book because I cannot leave these worlds alone. Sorry. But anyway, yes, I will read. I'm going to get other Brandon Sanderson novels because he's such a good author. Like this video if you liked it, and if you want to share your favorite / not so favorite moments of this book, then please leave a comment below. And that's it. Bye. Oh, subscribe if you want to see more.